Hey, what is up? It's been a bit since I've posted. It's been a couple weeks actually, and it's because I've been extremely busy. We finally got our new space, and for those that don't know, we own Rancho Cordova Fit Body Boot Camp here in Sacramento, and we lost our lease. Couldn't come to an agreement with our landlord. Actually, he tried to screw us a little bit. Phone's going off like crazy, and basically tried to get us to sign a really bad deal because he had us stuck in a really bad spot. And so we decided to end our lease and move out and pivot, because he would have really stuck us in a really bad lease for a long period of time, which is what he was attempting to do. And it was truly unfortunate that that was the approach that he took, because currently that space is still empty. He still had a lot of empty space in his current building. And we were, after making a pivot, we moved to an Elks Lodge for 2 months, which was a challenge in and of itself for our team, but we made it work, and we were able to find an amazing space that I'm currently sitting in my office that has provided us with way more opportunity in the sense of space. We have a locker room with showers, which we didn't have at our last location. Last location with 2 individual bathrooms. We have an office for each of our team members. So my wife and I have an office, and our coaches have an office that they share. And we have a storage room, we have a break room, and all for the price that we actually were supposed to pay at our last location, which is kind of crazy. And so the last couple weeks have been a little bit crazy. We've been moving all of our stuff from the Elks Lodge into our new space. We had a ton of construction that we had to do, and our turnaround time was the goal was to be real quick, because we essentially moved out of the Elks Lodge on a Wednesday to open up for business on the following Monday. And this is what happens when you build a great community of people that love you, and you pour into them, and they have a willingness to pour into you. And they really came through in the clutch. Our team came through in the clutch to put everything together. But boy, has it been exhausting. And so I'll say my training has been less in the last couple weeks. I've only ran probably about 20 to 30 miles in the last couple weeks, and most of it coming on my big run on Sundays. And I've been just exhausted. And so I didn't push too much. I did the runs that I needed to run, and really changed my focus, really prioritized my focus in getting the space up and running. And now I'm back to training. So today's Monday. Yesterday I ran a 16-mile long run with my training partner Sarah, and then I went out and ran a 5-mile easy run today. Then I did boot camp with Liz, my wife, and my son Mason, and just dropped Mason off at MMA, and then here I am back in the office just trying to get some work done. But I wanted to make a video because I wanted to share something that I think is really, really important. And it's essentially comes down to the basics of why people do not do things. They do not do things that are scary, like moving out of your location and signing a bad deal just so that you can stay in the place that you have been in for the last 4.5 years and risk potentially losing clients, which we did. We lost a number of clients. I'll say we probably lost about 10% of our clients in that turbulent state because of the uncertainty that came along with it. And we are gaining those clients back, or gaining new clients back, and that's okay. That's just kind of part of the process. But why do people not make those decisions? Why do we not start new training programs? Why are we not willing to make change? And the foundation of all of that is fear. We all have fear. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being accepted. I guess that's the fear of rejection. That is the bottom line. And the bottom line to all of this, as I've known from other books, but this book that I've been listening to on Audible is called The Courage to be Disliked. And it's a back and forth between a young man and a philosopher that talks about the Adlerian psychology or Adlerian philosophy and how it contrasts to Freudian psychology. And in the idea of the Adlerian psychology, the bottom line is every conflict, every struggle that we have, every bit of unhappiness comes from the interpersonal relationships that we have. It's not the fear of failure. I'm not afraid to fail. I'm more afraid of what are people going to think when I do fail, right? What are they going to say about me, right? If I go and I want to ask a pretty girl out on a date, which I'm not going to because I'm lucky enough to be married to the most beautiful woman in the world. But in the event that I am a single man and I wanted to ask a beautiful woman out on a date, what stops me? It's the fear of failure. It's the fear of rejection. And are they going to laugh at me? Or are other people going to see me get rejected? Everything that we fear, everything that discourages us from trying, at the foundation of it all comes from the interpersonal relationships that we have. What will they say about me? If I try to get healthy and get in shape, and let's say I fall off the wagon, it's not necessarily about me. It's what will somebody else say about me that will make me feel bad about myself. Instead of me going, okay, I fell off, let me get back on track. And from my years of coaching, this is what I've learned, is that people don't fear failure. They fear what people will say about their failure. And so the premise of this book, obviously it's in the title, the premise of this book, The Courage to be Disliked, is having the courage to try and to attempt to do bigger things, to make changes in our lives without worrying about what other people are going to say about us. And if we can get past that part and not necessarily care what they say, and instead be confident enough in ourselves to say, hey, I had a setback, not a big deal, then it's amazing what we are capable of trying. In the case of us owning this business, there were, and there continues to be, tons of fear of failure. Not because I'm afraid of failing. I've failed tons of times in my life. It's, well, what happens if, what are my kids going to think about me? What happens if the business fails? What happens with the house that we live in? What happens to us paying the bills? How do I put food on the table for my family? I know that I would figure it out on my own, but what are people gonna think? What are my friends, my kids' friends gonna think about them, right? Because they don't have money, right? The bottom line of all of this is that fear of what other people are gonna say about us. And if we can get past that part, then the sky's the limit on what we can attempt to accomplish in our life. And that's what I want to share with you today. I want you to recognize that there is something that is holding you back. And in many cases, it's what you are afraid that someone else is going to think about you and your potential failure. As I'm going into this marathon build, and as I've lost 2 weeks of training through choice, my choice, but I've lost 2 weeks of training, what happens if I don't hit my sub 3 hour and 20 minute mark? That's my goal for this San Francisco Marathon that's coming up so that I can qualify for Chicago. And what happens to my goal of going sub 3:10 so that I can qualify for Boston when it comes up in December for that December marathon? What will people think about me? It's not me, right? I'm not worried about me. Yeah, I'll be dejected and sad and all that other stuff, but I'm just gonna keep on training. But what are people gonna think about me in the meantime? And what I've decided is that it just doesn't matter. And that is a powerful, powerful feeling, my friends. So that's what I wanted to share with you today as I'm back on the training track, as we are moved into our beautiful, beautiful space here in Rancho Cordova. I just want you to understand that I want you to do some deep thinking. I'm not going to edit that out. It is what it is. I want you to do some deep thinking and deep reflecting, and I want you to ask yourself, what is holding you back from doing the thing that you want to do? And really drill down. And I can all but guarantee what you're going to find is that you're worried about somebody saying something about you. And the question is, do you have the courage to not care? Do you have the courage to be disliked? And if you can do that, my friends, oh man, it is powerful. All right. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Great that I could be back. Great to catch up with you guys. You guys, if you found this helpful, please subscribe. Please click like. Give me some love, you guys. Comment down below. I respond back to the comments, and I can't wait to share with you some more thoughts in the future, you guys. All right. I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Deuces.